Does God just naturally give us the fruits of the Spirit whenever we ask for them? Let's talk about it. I'm Stephen Tocher, and I've helped hundreds of people over the past 20 years, and I would love to life coach and mentor over 1 million people over the next 40 years, God willing. Over the past few weeks, I've had people who've come to me who've really wanted to improve their walk with their Lord, and they've been asking for the fruit of the Spirit, especially a specific fruit of the Spirit in their life, to improve. And each time I tell them this small story. So a little while ago, actually not a little while ago, probably about 10 years ago, I was really seeking out how to be more of a peaceful person. And my mentors had always told me that be careful what you ask for and what you pray for, because it is not going to be the way that you anticipate it. When I was younger, I used to kind of think that the fruit of the Spirit would come by prayer and supplication, and that God would just supernaturally give me the fruit of the Spirit that I'm looking for. I was wrong. As I was looking for more said peace in my life, it was funny, I was consistently bombarded with unpeaceful people, with situations that caused me to have anxiousness, to cause me to have fear. And during this time frame, I was crying out to God, asking God for help, for mercy, for grace. And in those moments, God did show up. And I'm very, very thankful to say that God has always shown up in my life. Not always in the ways that I've wanted, and not always in the answers that I've liked, but God has always shown up. And so in this season of me asking for peace, what was the thing God gave me? Well, God gave me, in my opinion, situations that were very actually unpeaceful, because I was not going to gain peace in the flesh or in my mind or in the realms of psychology, but I was going to find my peace in God, in His fruit, in the Spirit, and be able to mature as time went on. I remember there was a specific moment in time when I was really struggling with certain fears in my life, and I just remember these verses in the Bible and these sermons that I had heard, and they really just coated me in God's love. It's like God wrapped me with His arms, and I felt that peace. And I said, oh, okay, this is it. The peace is not the fact that I'm going to be peaceful in every situation, but I'm going to lean on God for said peace. And this works for just about any fruit of the Spirit. If you ask God for patience, chances are you're going to be met with situations, especially in the moment, that are going to cause you to be impatient. There are going to be moments in which you ask the Lord for maybe grace, more grace in your life. And chances are you're going to have people who are going to hurt you and harm you, or people who are going to just misuse you, and you need to be able to be more patient and gracious in those moments. So be careful what you ask for, essentially, is what my mentors had told me. And I don't think it's wrong for us to ask to grow deeper in the Lord. It's just sometimes I think we get ahead of ourselves and we start asking for things left, right, and center, and we don't get still and quiet before the Lord and allow God to bring us to the place that we need to at the appropriate time. But in spite of it all, especially I can say in my youth, when God was able to work in spite of my immaturity, I was able to grow in those areas. I became more peaceful, and I'm all the more thankful for it. And I do hope we all challenge ourselves to a certain degree. But as I get older, I realize life is very tough, and I'm not, running after, the quote unquote fruit of the Spirit like I used to in that sense. I am constantly living and dwelling in the day to day. And more so, what I find is that as I lean on the Lord, instead of trying to ask for specific fruits of the Spirit to be better in my life, I just find that my overall prayer life, my overall attention to what the Spirit is saying is naturally growing. The speed in which I don't go to people, which I used to all the time, in which I go into prayer or spend time to be thoughtful or to go on a walk or to connect with the Lord, is increasing. I think that's a part of the maturation process as well. So whether or not you're looking to be long-suffering with those people around you, or build better boundaries, and you're finding that your prayer life is moving in that direction, I hope that today this little talk helps you to move in that direction of leaning on the Lord in a faster and quicker fashion. Because when we do that, we allow ourselves to grow in said fruit. And at least in my case, I would suggest, or from what I've heard from other people as well, anecdotally, don't be too eager to grow up too fast. Enjoy the moment that you're in. See how God is actually shaping and molding you. And if you do really want to push for that growth in the spiritual realm, do it with trepidation, because chances are, if you ask to be more loving, you're going to meet some fairly unloving people and or situations along the way. Not a discouragement, but just be careful what you ask for. If you'd like to watch any of the other dad doing dishes videos, you can do that right over here. If you'd like to subscribe, that would be amazing. You could do that over here. Please like and comment if you don't mind. It would be great for the channel. I'm Stephen Tocher. Have yourself a wonderful day, evening, morning, or night. God bless.